All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we're here with Chit Chat episode 119, and we're going to be talking about playing by the rules.
Yeah, which we do sometimes. We're not playing.
Occasionally.
We're not playing by all the rules. We don't have David with us. That feels like a rule.
Don't have David, but we do have Jeremy.
We do. Welcome, Jeremy.
Yes, it is I am him, and I'm in the little box down below, but my personality is much larger.
So true.
The man in the box. I like that. The man in the box. That's how we're going to start referring to Jeremy. Forget jambalaya. The man in the box works so much better.
But before we start talking about rules and stuff, we do want to plug a few things we've been talking about lately on the channel.
Yeah.
I know you guys just did one about crowd control.
We did start a new program. We want to talk about it a little bit. It's called Crowd Control, which is something we're having a little bit of fun with. Talking about crowdfunding in board games. It's something that people have asked us over the years, are you ever going to talk about crowdfunding or have a crowdfunding show? So we thought we'd try one out, see how we liked it. We've been having a lot of fun with it. We've been having some guest contributors come on. We've been having people like Jeremy come on and do a segment. Maybe we'll get you to do a segment someday. But it's been a lot of fun doing that, and we're doing them not necessarily weekly, but we're saying that we're going to do one every week that there's something to talk about.
Cool.
And in the world of crowdfunding, it does seem like there's always something happening, always something worth talking about. So check out that. It's called Crowd Control. And then, of course, we have our standard calendar of videos. We just filmed a Just Played for Books of Time.
That's exciting. I want to play that one.
Yeah, we're doing something on The Witcher Old World, which we just got. Jeremy's probably still going to be doing his solo Sundays, right?
Yeah, I got my solo chat show. It's on episode number 2. We'll have episode number 3 coming here maybe this weekend, but if not, we're going to have it next weekend. We'll have a couple different solo games and a new topic to talk about. There's plenty of games that I'm ready to show you. New, old, on Kickstarter, whatever's on my mind and on my heart at the time, you will find out. And of course, opinions are so real, and we lay it on pretty thick on my show. So I'm looking forward to sharing that next episode with you.
There you go. So lots of games being played here at MVM, lots of stuff being covered.
Hopefully.
But speaking of games, we want to talk to you tonight about how we read the rules and what we do about rules for games.
Can I say we just ignore them?
You can, but you would be lying for sure. So I want to start out with a question of, how do you guys prepare for a game, right? You get a new game you haven't ever played before. What do you do to get it to the table?
Yeah, I can start. I am a learn from the rule book as I'm playing person.
Okay.
That is my favorite way to learn a game. I will just sit back and read a rule book sometimes, but I prefer to. The first thing I'll do is get out all the components, get out the rule book, start right from the setup, because I like when the rule book references a component.
Yeah.
I like being able to see it, touch it, know exactly what they're referencing. Not all rule books are created equal. You think it's so silly that every rule book should have a list of what all the components are. Some rule books don't have that. Some rule books don't even have pictures. So for me, it really does help to be able to literally be there with the components as I'm trying to learn the game and actually kind of work it out on the table. So that is my preferred way to do it.
Jeremy, do you not agree?
I think it's the worst way to learn a game. So, the way Ryan learns a game is like what I call the convention way to learn a game. When you're at a convention, nobody knows how to read the rules. Nobody's read the rules yet, but they want to play some big Euro they just got at a convention, and they whip it out and learn it. And it's like sloppy to me.
Yeah.
And it gets me confused. Yeah. And it takes longer than it should. Mm-hmm. I would almost rather have that person go over in a corner, read the rules, and then come back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather do that. But when I'm learning a game, I kind of give myself a time to learn a game. So I'll maybe read the rule book or rough my way through the rule book, and then I'll go home and I'll set the game up. And I'll set it up and I'll leave it there. Like right now I have Jerusalem right on my table. Last night I read the rule book already, but then I put the setup down and I made sure I knew what the components were. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go through turns. I just started taking turns last night, and I will literally walk through a turn and look at a card and how do I take that turn? How do I take that turn? How do I take that turn? So it gives me time to learn and work my way into the game. Now Ryan's saying something similar.
Sure.
But it's not the same. It's just a different pace. I just like to learn games a tad different. But when it comes down to that, I feel like I'm better at getting the rules right when I do that. But of course, sometimes my memory slips, And then sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I just don't care. I mean, as a solo player, sometimes it's just like, that doesn't even make any sense to me.
I'm
like,
more
why
of
would
your
they do
way,
that?
Jeremy.
I try to play close to the rules, but sometimes it's just like, are you kidding me? No way. But yeah, I'm not a huge rule stickler. Like for example, like you say, like Tapestry, they have what 16 different factions. And they say give people 2. Well, if I'm playing with enough players, like a lower player count, I'll just give them like 3 or 4.
Sure.
And be like, hey, why don't you just look at a bunch
Sure.
and just decide which one you want instead of being like, here, we're going to limit you to these 2, one or the other. Pick your poison. I'm like, I'd rather have you pick a bunch of them. Same thing with missions. Like if we have a whole bunch of missions, why not give a nice chunk of missions to look at, especially if I'm explaining the rules to you, so that you can create a strategy. And there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, like asymmetric games, you kind of can't help that. So you have to really be prepared, and that's what I usually rely on, is everybody being prepared.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like I'm a mixture of you both, because I am definitely more of a stickler for rules than Jeremy is. I will do whatever it says, but I also do really like to prepare. I would not do what Ryan does, where I would not.
You don't fully set it.
No,
that is so foreign.
But what
to
you're
me.
saying is that like you set up a game and then you're playing it as you're learning. No, I always get the rules and I just read through I'm not anywhere near the game. I'm literally.
Oh,
but
wow.
To be fair, also a lot of times when we get new games, like if you're looking at something on crowdfunding or you're getting a new game, I might not have the game physically yet.
That does
so
happen.
I'm
Yes.
literally reading
Yes.
the rule book, imagining what it must look like. And then what I do afterwards, once I have a strong grasp of the rules, what's written, I watch a video on it, right? So that's why the videos are so helpful to me, because I see someone and I'm like, oh, that's what the action cards look like. That makes sense. This is how they work. And then I think about my questions of like the exceptions, right? Of like, what happens if someone does this, or what happens if someone does that? And then I try to find those in playthroughs and see, has someone, or on BGG, has someone addressed what happens in this case? And you know that from playing games with me, because if you try to teach me a game while you're saying the rules, I ask those questions, and I'm like, what if someone does this? And David's always like, Emily, only you come up with these questions as we're going through the rules.
That's why I like setting it up. That's why I like actually playing through a turn as I'm learning the rules. Because I'll read the rule book and it'll say, do this and this. And then I look at the card and I'm like, oh, but this card says something. Now I'm a little confused and I have a question, and then I can like reference the rule book and answer it. Some of those things, I don't like to have those moments show up for the first time in a play where somebody draws a card and goes, well, how does this interaction work? And I'm like, I've never even considered that. Sometimes those interactions don't come up when I like multi-hand or I play through a game solo sometimes, but a lot of times they do. And I'm able to see the challenges and I can go, okay, this is what confused me when I played this. So I guarantee that players at the table are going to be confused. I won't even wait for them to ask. I'll just get in front of it and say, before you ask, this interaction is wonky. Here's how it actually works.
So what do you guys do when there is a rule confusion? Like, Jeremy, what do you do if somebody's like,
always.
how does this work? Or is playing it a way that you didn't think was how it was supposed to be played?
I tell them, shut up, and you can't have another sip of my scotch. Okay? That's what I tell everybody. No, actually, no. We have discussions over rules. I honestly, I will say, hey, this is how I'm interpreting the rule. What do you think? And, if people want to go to BGG, that's fine. I don't mind being trumped on rules and rule interpretations. I'm not one of those people that, like, has a heel, like a hill to die on with these rules. It's like, I get it. I am sort of a stickler when it comes to rules, but it's like I'm not really when it comes down to it. Like, I can be fought right off of that and be like, all right, that makes sense. That's a good interpretation for me. I saw it another way, and now that makes sense. You're making sense for me. So I understand we get games before a lot of people, so we don't necessarily have a lot of FAQ to work with.
Or videos.
So it's like at that point, especially when you're at like a prototype point, you don't necessarily have a publisher that's like doing a great job of like telling you everything, or they can't interact with you. You got to make choices.
Yeah.
And like I'm with my play group, and that's more brains to bounce ideas off of, and let's say hey, that just makes sense thematically or mechanics wise. Like that's the way you want it to be, or you just go with a general rule. Like for dungeon crawlers, it's like what's the worst possible thing that could happen? That.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like you kind of agree on something that's kind of general.
Yeah. For me, consistency is really key, right? Like if we find a rule 3/4 of the way through a game, I'm like, okay, well, we're just going to keep playing the game.
Right.
I don't want to like retcon what we've done almost all the game. I'd rather just play it again afterwards with a different rule. I don't like changing something that far through, especially when people have been making plans and saying like, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And then we're like, oh, actually the rule book says this. And I'm like,
That was my whole strategy was
Well.
based on that. Like, yeah, you can base your entire strategy on a rules mess up. And you know what? We try to get the rules as right as possible. I mean, we do. Like, I will say that for the channel. Like, we work hard to make sure that we get the rules. And, you know, not every rule book is created equal. Like I said earlier, and like Jeremy said, we get a lot of prototypes that we do here where there is not a, you know, how to play video up yet or whatever. And a lot of the times, like sometimes we do need to like directly call a publisher or message a publisher and say, listen, this paragraph in your prototype rulebook is clunky. Can you explain? Because we're interpreting this 3 different ways. Now, I know that not everybody has the benefit of being able to just like message a publisher or designer. We like to do those things because when I get a prototype rulebook, especially, I want the consistency, right? And I want consistency with the rules. I want consistency so that everyone that plays is going to interpret a particular rule the same way. I maybe get a little too hung up on that. You probably know that. I was a Magic the Gathering player for years. I still am, and like Magic is well known for like they're very clear, like if and then, like it's like coding. And I like rule books that are like that. Like sometimes you would think it's silly, like in Books of Time, they had some very obvious call outs that were like, no, you can never just like do this thing. And it's like, well, duh. But I like that they're in there because you can never have that player at the table that goes, well, couldn't you do this? Well, no, it very clearly actually says you can't do that, and that helps.
I mean, I think we all agree. We like rule books that are clear. We like rules in general that are consistent and clear. It's just when they're not, you're kind of left to your own devices on like, well, are we going to do what it says, or are we going to do what we think the intent was, or are we going to do what's most fun, right? Like, how do you kind of decide what to do there? Do you guys ever homebrew any rules on any of the games you like to play?
Well, Jeremy just said he does.
I honestly, like, other than like what I said with like the powers or like faction stuff, I tend to really stick to the rules as best as possible.
Sure.
Just because, let's say if I'm reviewing a game, I want to be as clear as possible. I want to make sure I'm sticking to the rules. I don't want to make up something and be like, well, you could just do this instead. I don't want to necessarily do that. Otherwise, I'm kind of breaking the game. And I know, actually, a lot of designers are like, we don't care. Like, house rule it, have fun, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to judge your game good, bad, or ugly and not have given it a fair shot the way it's meant to be played.
Yeah.
I was going to say this, though, also with prototypes, people change the rules a lot. So it's like they kind of change it based on our feedback. Like a lot of different, content creators are like looking at this thing and they're like, hey, we didn't realize this is happening. So my game group may have helped a rule, we kind of came up with this situation. So yeah, I try to make sure I don't homebrew. Although in the solo community, that is very common. Very, very common. As a matter of fact, if there's a lack of an automa, some people will make one. They'll make, dummy players. They'll do all kinds of stuff. I mean, they'll even go as far to make cards and components.
That's so cool.
And then some of those actually become part of the game. There are ones that are very, very famous. As a matter of fact, one content creator, Michael Kelly, has several that are very, very well known. It's just, there's a lot of content for people who like that kind of stuff. That's not me. I'd rather just have what's in the box and what was intended originally.
So you're saying, Jeremy, that homebrewing games is the first step to becoming a game designer, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think there's a big difference between home brewing and home ruling. I actually think those are 2 different things, right? Like I think there's a huge community on BGG of people that have home brewed things like expansions or modules, especially for games like Endless Winter. I saw one for Dead of Reckoning that was really interesting that added some like events that could happen when you're out at sea. These things are, they're modules or they're rules that you're adding in. Home rules, I think, it's tough for me because, like you said, Jeremy, designers say play how you want to play. I think you should. Play how you want to play, but I'm a big Marvel Champions player. And people home rule all the time, but what it leads to is either complaints or just a shift in the way you feel about a game based on a rule that's not there.
Sure.
Right? So, like, you could be talking about a game and being like, post your score from your BG Stats app. How did you score 200 points? It's like, well, we house ruled away the feeding your people. And it's like, well, then, caveat that. You didn't score 240 points.
Right.
You did away with a part of the game. And, like, that's, if it makes the game more fun for you, do it. But, like, we as reviewers, as content creators, I don't think we have that luxury. Because if I'm going to come out in front of a game and say, I loved it, but I had to do away with 6 of these rules.
Yeah.
that needs to be said if you're ever going to house rule. Like, we need to be very upfront about that, which is why I just don't like to do it.
Well, I'm curious for the viewers. Comment below. Do you guys do house rules? What games do you do house rules for? Or what's your approach to the rules, right? Are you more like Ryan, where you sit down and try to play it? Are you more like Jeremy and I, where you read it, you take some time? But let us know in the comments below. What do you guys do for rules and game setup?
I think everybody does what Jeremy mentioned. I do what Jeremy mentioned. Any game where it says just give everyone a random power, man, it's so much more fun and engaging when you let people draft.
Sure.
I mean, it just is better. Or even when you let people choose which
Ryan,
one they want to
draft.
do.
I feel like any game you're like, but we could draft it. We could just draft it.
I mean, yeah, any game that has like starting powers. If there's like 10 starting powers and it just says, yeah, deal one randomly, why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
You might get stuck with a random one that literally ruins your experience. We played La Familia. I hate to bring this up. And like you do that randomly, and it's like if you end up with a guy that's anti your playing style, it can make for a very tough time. So I do like giving players the choice of like Spirit Island. Like, choose which one works best for you. That's going to make you have the most fun and enjoy the experience the most. I think that's fair.
So Ryan's rule is always draft it. What's yours? What's your rule that you like?
Always draft it.
With that, we are going to take a break, and then we'll be right back with player versus player. All right, now it's time for some player versus player. And this week we have a new game, which is called Artificial Illustrations. So we're going high tech for this one. We've got our phones in hand. And what we've done is I've taken some common board game covers and I've put them through a TikTok AI generated filter so they look like some like AI generated art, which you'll be able to tell is not quite as good as the original artwork. So hopefully you two can tell which board game this is supposed to be.
So it's going to be like an abstract, like a modified board game cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, Ryan. Don't worry. The letter is L.
Wow.
Okay? The letter is L.
Not even
Take it easy.
Even the first
it's okay.
one yet.
Take it easy. Be respectable. Here we go.
All right. Well, to warm you guys up, let's just throw up. So here's your first image, and for example, this one would be Orleans.
Yeah, that was pretty. That's cool, actually.
That's the kind of stuff we're looking for
That
here.
is cool looking.
So now you've got a little warm up.
Right.
Let's put up our first actual image.
Who's guessing first?
You are guessing first, sir.
All right.
So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here
No
comes
pressure, but all the pressure.
your first image.
Okay.
No pressure.
Ooh, that's cool.
What do you think?
Obviously it's I think this is Lorenzo El Magnifico.
Wow.
The center picture, I think.
And you would be correct.
Okay.
Nice
that
job,
is
Ryan.
cool though. I like that. Like,
there you go.
very unique filter on that.
That's 1 point for
Yeah,
Ryan.
that's a very unique filter.
Yeah,
I knew what it was, but I had to like second take at it.
Yeah.
That's a
Well, it's that
interesting twist on it.
Renaissance look, that circle around
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
All right, let's bring up.
This could be tricky. This could be tricky.
It could be tricky. Jeremy, this next one's going to you, and I think you might have a little bit harder of a time.
Ooh.
So let's look at what our second picture is. Here you go.
Whoa.
What do you think, Jeremy? What's going through your head?
Wow.
I think I got a layup.
Oh. I'm trying to figure out, what is she holding? Let me see, what is she holding?
It's got, yeah.
Remember, these have been put through a filter, so not everything is
Right.
important. They might have 6 fingers, and that's not a clue.
Or more than
Yeah, I
six.
noticed that too. I was like, oh, that's strange.
Not to help out Jeremy at all, but you got to think too, like this has a very aquatic theme, but that might just be the filter. That image, that propose might not have been.
That might be the filter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Aquatica.
Aquatica is not correct. No. So Jeremy did not get it. Ryan, we're going to you.
I'm trying to like take out the idea that this is like even an underwater scene. But like my brain's like abyss. No, it's not Aquatica. I remember that blue cover. So she could have been holding like a staff or a spear.
Jeremy, if he doesn't get this, you'll get one more guess. So be thinking.
This one is
And
tough.
I think I know what it
That
is.
shows you what kind
Hold
of
on.
confidence I have in Ryan right now.
And I'm looking at the buildings. I'm trying to find clues. Like, were those buildings part of the original artwork of the cover?
All right, Ryan, I'm going to start counting you down.
You can count me down. I have no idea.
No guess?
No,
Oh my gosh.
I
Jeremy,
want to.
bring it home. What do you think this one is? If it's not
I can't think of
Aquatica.
the name of this game. It's not. God, it's coming to me, and I just can't. It's coming to me.
I'm gonna be like, this is so obvious. I feel like.
It's
I can feel it. He's got it.
Oh gosh. It's by Thundergriff. Tang Garden?
It is not Tang Garden. Ryan, you want any guesses?
Thundergriff was a good. I'm just like looking at this character's face. Yamatai?
Yamatai
It
is
is
right.
not
No,
Yamatai.
okay.
Whoa.
It was actually Stone Age.
Oh,
So
so
not underwater
I'm
at
telling you, I
all.
got stuck on that. I
You
didn't
really
know
did.
how much.
You really did.
So that was like her with the hunting spear.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that
She's
is.
not underwater.
This
She
is
looks
tough.
very mermaid.
This is going to be tough. Okay, I
Yeah,
like this.
no,
I
now
like
I'm
this.
We're not
getting it
playing.
now.
We're playing games, but we're not playing games here. So Ryan,
Keep
this
them
next
coming.
one's going
I
to
like
you.
this.
That was.
Hopefully, this
Oh
is a little
no,
bit easier.
I don't think
though.
it's gonna be.
So your third one is coming in right now. All right, what do you think it is, Ryan?
I think this one's horrified. Right?
Yes.
This is horrified.
This one is horrifying.
That's Yeah, you got the characters set. Yes, that one I could do.
All right, maybe we were a little stacked here. Hopefully,
Now Jeremy gets a really
I
hard
know,
one.
Jeremy, I think this one actually is harder, so I feel a little bit bad for the order I put this in.
Oh boy. So I'm looking at the arms and all the beads on the arms, and I'm
Yep.
thinking, maybe this is a theme switch. That theme switch before got me. It
Yeah.
got me big time. I'm thinking
What you thinking?
this is tough because
I
it could
know,
be
it's
so
really
out of
gets you going.
context. I'm just gonna go straight for what I think it is.
All right.
It's Camel Up.
It is not Camel Up. That was a good guess. That was a
Ooh.
good guess. Ryan, what do you think it could be?
Something. I see the horse. It's not like Great Western Trail. I see that cowboy kind of feel. Is it Colt Express?
It is not Colt Express. All right, Jeremy, you get one more chance.
Oh, this is tough.
Don't be
I
fooled
don't
always
know.
I'm
I'm stumped.
Hey, that's
I
the
am
hard
stumped.
part.
I'm
If you
stumped.
squint your eyes real hard, what do you see? What do you see? It's like one of those magic pictures.
I see the horse. I don't know if the horse was part of the original
Jeremy.
image or not.
I can't. I just can't. I can't tell. I don't know.
All right,
This is tough.
We're gonna take it as no guess. You got any guess?
No, that's no guess.
Okay,
I
Ryan, you
have
got
no
any
guess.
final guess?
Castles of Burgundy.
It is not actually Castles of Burgundy.
This one has me confused.
It was Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Oh.
Now,
Whoa,
now
yeah.
do you see it? Now that you
I
know.
Whoa.
There you
Man,
go.
these are tough.
There you go. Well,
Okay.
one last tough one, and we will start with Ryan this time. So you do get a hard one, Ryan. This
Oh.
is your go, and here is the last one coming in right now.
Oh, this is another underwater looking one.
But don't remember, we've been fooled
I
before.
see a
We've been
helmet.
fooled before.
Ooh. Is it Hadrian's Wall?
Ryan,
Is it Hadrian's Wall?
this is supposed to be your hard one.
He's got the Roman helmet. He's got the sash.
It is
He's got
Hadrian's
the-
Wall.
That one I knew. That one was not hard for me. He's got like the Roman helmet was like obfuscated and like
Oh my gosh, Jeremy, did you know it?
Wow. No.
I've seen that cover so many times.
You have seen that cover quite a few times, but all right, for just one bonus, Jeremy, see if you get any on the board. Here is a final one for fun, and my one hint will be, it may not be a board game cover,
What?
but it does have to do with board games.
Are you kidding me? I don't know what the heck is going on here. Oh my God.
What does it look like to you,
Wow.
Jeremy, if you had to guess?
He's like the man in a little hat. Like, I don't know, like man in the yellow hat. I don't know.
It's board game related.
Any board
It's
game
not
related
Monopoly?
men in hats you know?
Is it Monopoly? I don't know.
It's not Monopoly. Ryan, you got any guesses?
Is this David?
It is not David.
He's got that beard.
It is Tom Vassell.
That's an AI Tom Vassell? Or is that Tom Vassell's promo card?
It's an AI Tom
I
Vassell.
see,
It's our
okay.
filter on it.
Oh,
That's
my
for
gosh.
fun.
Wow. I see little David in that.
Yeah.
Man, this is crazy. How they
This is crazy.
when you said what this was going to be, and you think, okay, it's going to be like, I'm used to like what it used to be, where it was like, okay, the colors are a little different. Or
Sure.
like these were like
this is
Very different.
like
Wow.
I think I got a layup with the Lorenzo because it kept the same basic shape
Yeah.
of that cover, but like that Stone Age one, this little like that does
so
not look.
different.
You would never know that was Stone Age. Even I think looking at them side by side,
I think when
that's
we
crazy.
play this game again, we have to have a subtle hint.
There you go.
That's subtle hint.
Well,
That's,
guys,
these are good though. That was good. I
Yeah,
enjoyed
they
that.
were really
That's
good.
awesome.
Those were
congrats,
really cool.
Ryan, on the win.
Thank you.
That is our player versus player, and we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with the games we've been playing recently.
But before that, let's talk about Phantom Sleeves. If you play board games with cards and you want them protected, you should check out Phantom Sleeves. They're top-notch quality, easy to play with, and they care about your cards and the environment. Plus, Phantom Sleeves are made with board gamers in mind. The sheer variety of sizes and shapes is kind of crazy. So no matter what game you're playing, they most likely have the perfect sleeve. And whether you want to see your cards crystal clear or avoid that annoying glare from the lights above your table, they've got you covered with both glossy and matte options. And if you're like, I just don't sleeve my cards, well, maybe you should stop and think for a second. Who's going to protect the dusky leaf monkey? Phantom Sleeves. That's who.
All right, we're back, and we're going to tell you a little bit about some of the games we've been playing recently. So, Jeremy, what have you got on the table lately?
So I just had a game day, kind of lifted my spirits up a little bit. And man, I'm so glad that I did stick it out and play some board games. I needed it that day.
There you go.
And the game that I didn't tell you that I played, I wanted to surprise you, is because I played Russian Railroads
Oh,
for the
really?
first time.
What did you
And
love
I
it?
thought, yeah, my buddy brought Ultimate Russian Railroads with all the stuff in there, and I said, oh boy, Ryan's gonna love this when I talk about it.
I do.
So Russian Railroads is a very easy to learn game.
Yeah.
Easy to learn.
But
yeah.
it is a very tight and unforgiving
I was gonna
game
say, it's not an
that
easy
gives you
game.
a lot of points if you play it right. A lot.
How did you do on your first
You're like,
game?
why are these 200, 300, and 400 tokens here? Oh, you're going to score a lot if you do it right. You're going to get a lot of times twos and whatever. But it's like a worker placement game, and you're just taking your pieces and you're placing them on there. You can get your tracks, move along tracks. You can add like an engine, and then you can add like these tiles where you'll score at the bottom of your track. And you're kind of doing a combination of moving these pieces, these bricks along there, and the bricks are worth more points the further you go out. But then you have your engines, which are going to kind of, your edges are kind of how far your scoring reaches. So you have like these tokens along the way that you're kind of tracking that, and you're trying to make sure each round that they're further and further away so that you can get more multipliers and score. And it feels really slow. I mean, like we're talking like first round you score like 4
Yeah.
points, but that's like an indicator of where it's going to go. And then there's other abilities that you can unlock. You're actually competing with coins for abilities, so timing's a big issue. Then some people are, some games people are going for the double workers because it gives you an extra action. And there's just a lot of there's just a lot of tight decisions, and then people are waiting for you to make your choice so they can decide, hey, what's more important for me this round? Then you kind of get your own worker placement spots that you pull back, and now you have your own worker placement spots. You can put coins as workers. I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff going
There's
on,
a lot of game
but
there.
it's very easy to understand. The scoring just gets more abundant
Right.
and more complex
It
as
gets
you go
bonkers.
along because you have so many factors that you're adding in. But the score just goes way up, by the fourth round. There's 7 rounds and it goes like super fast. It actually goes faster than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So yeah, I really am glad that I played it because I still haven't broke out my copy since I had it.
Oh my gosh.
You understand now why it's on my top list?
So that definitely that's definitely a big game. I played that in Darwin's Journey, which I'm not going to get into. It's a fantastic game, but that's about it. But yeah, that was kind of the highlight of my day because, it's one of those games where it's just like, damn, I wish I would have played this a long time ago.
Yep.
It's an awesome game. So yeah.
Nice.
I'm really glad that you finally played it. You've come over to my side. I really like that.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, Ryan?
Well, I've played quite a bit lately, but I did want to talk about one thing in particular because I wanted to focus on this, and that's Books of Time, which is coming soon from Board and Dice. This is, and I'm not even exaggerating, this is one of the freshest feeling games that I've played
Really?
in a long time. So much so that I played it with David. We played it and we were like, this is the one that we have to film a Just Played on, which if you've seen that content, we talked about, a game right after we got done playing it. It just left me feeling very satisfied in a lot of ways. It's a really cool, some might call gimmick, but it's a really cool premise of literally having these books. Literally, there's binders with covers, like cardboard covers, and you have 3 different books that represent kind of your civilization. There's like technology, and there's like science, and I think like math or travel or something like that. But you have these 3 books, and each book represents some actions you can take. And you open your book to a specific page, and it sits there, and you've got actions on both pages, and you can take those actions.
Interesting.
But what's very interesting about the game is that there's all these pages you can buy and write into your book, and you're literally adding these pages into your book as you're playing. And so you're giving yourself some new actions to take. You're changing the layout of your book. There's some actions that let you just flip through your book to get to the actions you want to take. There's some actions that let you close your book and just gain all the rewards from your book. Every book scores in different ways. There's achievements you're trying to reach. There's utility actions, but there's this one really cool aspect, which is like the Book of Time, the center book. There's one book that everybody shares.
Okay.
And every round you turn the page to a new ability. And that to me, like, sure, it feels gimmicky, but there's that level of like excitement of discovery of like, what's it going to be? Is it going to be the page that I need it to be when I need it to be? Because there's a whole stack of pages that you use to build this book at the start of the game. And you like scrap 8 of them and the rest fill up the book, and that's your turn structure basically, or how many turns you have. And I'll tell you, like, that idea when we sat down and looked at these books, and you think, okay, yeah, well, it's cute. But then you start to play it, and you're opening that binder and filling it with pages and flipping those pages, and like it just triggered so many different satisfying elements of my brain that I didn't even know I needed. And like after we played, I felt like I'd experienced something novel.
That's so cool. I've seen pictures of it. Honestly, I do really want to play it. Hearing you and David talk about it, I'm like, okay, I want to play now.
I thought about you after we played. I was like, this is one that Emily has to play.
Yeah.
Jeremy, give this one a chance. Like everyone should give this game a chance. It might
I saw this last year at. I saw it really early because I was looking at Teletum. I was excited about Teletum. And they had a rough prototype of it with the binders and stuff, and he was explaining the concept to me. And I just was like, yeah, I'm so ready for this. So it'd be really cool to see what it's like. I worry about games like that, like with their like longevity, whatnot, like will the novelty wear off? But it just seemed like a smart design, and it seemed innovative enough to kind of like get with you. I mean, like we play thousands of games, but the whole idea is that like, is it fun, and is it like a good experience? And if it's anything like what you guys are saying to me, I'm down. I give every game a chance, so I'm excited about this one. I was excited a year ago, so let's have at it when I come down there.
There you go.
The novelty might wear off, but I think it's going to last. And I don't play a game generally more than like 10 times.
Sure.
So if this game, if the novelty gets me through 10 plays, that's still more than I've played 90% of my games. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, what about you, Emily?
Well, I started playing a new game, but it's also a game that I've played a lot of times, which is Machi Koro 2. So Machi Koro is on my top 50 list. It's on my top 10.
I missed that one.
It was. Because Brian and I actually really love playing it. We either go heavy deduction, Turing machine-like games, or we go roll the dice, make a tableau, make it fun, and
Do you
we play
house rule
Machi
Machi Koro?
We did in the
See,
first.
a lot of people do
okay,
that.
we did.
I was just about to say
But-
house rule.
But we don't house rule the second one.
Right, you don't need to.
We don't need to do it on the second one. So I have really enjoyed the second one so far. We played it quite a few times because it's just easy to play over and over again.
Sure.
But we played it, the two of us, and then we also brought it and we played it 4-player. My brother-in-law and his fiance are coming this week, so I'm excited to play it with them. It's such a light, fun game that I know I can teach it to anybody. And it's the kind of thing where, like, at the end of a long day or we've been doing other stuff, I can still say, hey, you want to play with Machi Koro? And Brian will still say yes.
That's good.
Because
That's
it
a good
doesn't
game to
take a
have.
ton of...
No.
It has decision-making, but it doesn't take a ton. And the difference about the new one is that you have these landmarks that are all unique.
Yeah.
And so all you have to do is you have to get 3 of them throughout the game, and then you win. So instead of having to all build the exact same landmarks, you're actually getting to choose what you want. And then when you choose one, a lot of them have abilities that affect everyone at the table. So like there's one where it's like if you roll doubles, take another turn. But if I buy that, everyone who rolls doubles gets to take another turn. So it's like the whole game is going up a
nice.
level.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, oh, I got something so it's easier for me to win. You're like, okay, well, your engine's working and mine is not, and now I'm just going to lose. You actually have a bit more of catch-up mechanics. And I think they just balanced this one a lot better, honestly. It
Well,
feels...
yeah, they took a lot of feedback.
Yes, it feels
the
a
first
lot
one.
less like, there's one strategy to win. This one feels a lot more like you could do different strategies or try different things and like go all in on the mines and really just hope somebody gets an 11 or 12 and then get like 20 coins in one turn and get to buy something. But it's a ton of fun. I really enjoyed when we played at 4. I played with my friend and her dad, and I was like, he won it. So it's fun to watch people who
Right.
don't often play as many board games get to experience something for the first time and win from their decisions. And so I love games like that. So I really enjoyed it. So
Yeah. I have to play that game. I have to give that game another shot. Machi Koro just was kind of a turnoff. I have to give games like that another shot because I love chucking old dice and stuff.
Yes.
It seemed like something I would love. So I might have to give that one a shot.
Well, and they put so many expansions into the first one that the second edition really took the best parts of the expansions and just put it right in there. So it's like, if you're going to start with anything, I would just start with Machi Koro too, because I think it's like the evolved version of it.
Have you played Machi Koro Legacy?
I have not.
I did not know that you loved Machi Koro that much. If you had, I would have told you a long time ago. Machi Koro Legacy might be the cutest legacy game that I've ever played. I mean, they lean into the cute factor.
I love
all the legacy stuff you're doing, like putting stickers on things or like getting new pieces. And you get some very cute things added into. I don't want to spoil it, but I think there are some boxes you'll open that will make you feel very happy. I'll just say that.
I'll have to put that on the list then.
I think you'd really like it.
Well, let us know in the comments below, what games have you guys been playing? What games are you excited about? Any legacy games? Any super cute games?
And your favorite house rules.
And your favorite house rules.
I do want to know that.
But until next time, make sure everyone's having fun at the table, and we'll see you then.